say you running plays, that's ish talk. You say you getting paid, that's ish talk. You see me with my babe, that's ish talk. The money in the
DMV hustlers and bums. It's Bmore, aka Princess Zamunda here. This is DMV News for February 5th, 2025. It's a brand new month with a brand new set of rules. I hope you got some kush at the crib, some cat in the bed, and some cash in your pocket. What more can be said? I got Leslie Olabisi in the house from Love Studios. I got Mr. Cool from Explicit Intelligence, and I got host of ChipChat, Chip. We're talking about pedos at my old school. Trayon White getting the boot, and funeral home, more like butcher shop. Discrimination with DC landlords and more. Leave a like and a comment. It's free 99.
Hey, I just dodged a bullet, literally, like damn near a shootout.
You are not the father?
No, no, like it got a little violent at a basketball game. Thank goodness I was 5 minutes.
A literal
gone.
bullet?
Yeah, well, it didn't come to the shots yet, but he was hovering around with the gat in hand, ready to throw it down. I was gone by that time, though.
What?
I wasn't the target.
They said, play my son. I ain't gonna keep telling y'all, play my son.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
No, wait. That's not
I'm sorry to laugh, but
look, I'm like, wait. Hold on before the internet comes after me. I'm sorry. That's not funny.
You skipped and skedaddled out the car in the back door.
Oh no, I got out the front. I seen the dude come back in. And I was like, I ain't think it was going to throw down. I thought he was just going in to look for some kids or something. I thought he forgot his kid. I was like 5 minutes gone. I got a call. Was like, yeah, you still there? Nah, it's about 5 squad cars out here.
That's
not looking for me. Yeah, for some youth sports.
Who won? Did your team win?
We won. We finally won our game. We 1-1 now. Yeah.
Congratulations. Barack Obama. Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
2 more wins, you'll be better than the Wizards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like shit. Sorry, them.
Sorry.
Sorry, them.
Thank you for the likes and the comments. Thank you for making our videos viral. We appreciate that. And I'm trying to tell Leslie, don't respond to the trolls. But let's get to DMV news.
She be busy.
Let's go to DMV news, shall we? Let me do that. Hey, dude, come on.
Hold up.
This for Leslie.
All right, let's get to DMV news.
Trayon White has been expelled. Right or wrong? Well, the DC Council has voted unanimously to expel DC Ward 8 Council member Trayon White, who is facing a criminal trial next year on federal bribery charges. The vote followed the committee's review of a damning report, which found substantial evidence that White violated the DC Code of Conduct in office. Let's cut through the legal jargon. Trayon White is accused of taking bribes, DC Council Chairman Phil Mendelson said in a statement on Monday. The prosecutors have established probable cause. Our own independent investigation found substantial evidence that he took bribes, and public servants are prohibited from taking bribes. I think everybody's prohibited from taking a bribe. That's why it's called a bribe and not a payment. But okay. This is quintessential corruption. DC Representative and Ward 8 resident Dr. Oye Owoliwa released a statement following White's expulsion from the DC Council. Today, I'm reflecting on the DC Council's decision to expel the council member of my home ward, Ward 8's council member Trayon White. As a Ward 8 resident, I've seen this entire ordeal negatively impact my community. I've listened to debates on all aspects of this matter. I've also seen a collective loss in faith in our legal system, political leaders, and the process in itself. Roughly 90,000 of my Ward 8 neighbors will be without a vote on legislation concerning our public safety, education, and economy. In addition, people who are already skeptical about our government are further dissuaded from civic engagement. What do you guys think?
Right or wrong?
I would go with, you know what? Because people quick to say, well, you know who else is in office that need to be expelled too? I get that, but who's to say he can't come back though?
Well, he can come back.
Yeah.
So we covered this pretty extensively on the show on ChipChat when the initial ad hoc committee voted to recommend expulsion, which was an 11-0 vote as well. Trayon took the money. I mean, we all saw the video. He definitely did that. So there's several arguments here. There's several sides to be looking at. There's one, obviously, as was mentioned in the story here, that the 90,000 residents of his ward now will be unrepresented. But when he is expelled, as he has been expelled, it triggers a special election. Having not been convicted of anything, he's eligible to run in the special election. He did run and win re-election after the charges had already been filed. So there's a pretty good bet that he could win his seat back. It's unclear what the council would do then in that instance. A lot of people kind of they say the council's a bit overreactive here because he hasn't been convicted of anything. He's accused of taking $156,000 worth of bribes. The council spent $400,000 with a law firm to establish that he definitely took $156,000.
400,000.
That's exactly right. So
he's going down.
That's maybe worth mentioning.
We need that bread back.
That's how bad you wanted. That's how bad you wanted somebody out of the office.
Yeah, they spent more than he took. And the reason, here's why I think it matters. As a lifelong resident in the DC area, one of the things that DC is very sensitive to is the home rule aspect. And DC home rule is constantly under threat. It's even more under threat with Republican control of Congress and Trump in the White House. So it can't look like DC isn't policing its own governance. It can't. Right. DC can't be a black city with a black government that is corrupt in the face of a white supremacist Republican Party that wants to strip them of what little self-determination and autonomy that they have.
Yeah, but those are all like feel-good buzzwords and things, but like the DC, nothing that the federal government is already doing with regards to funds and the way that they control and manage DC. DC is not going to get a statehood. So this is not something that's like, oh, we want a statehood and now here's another stain on our opportunity. It's never going to happen. So I think that it's just another political person who got caught doing something that I believe most government officials worldwide do, which is take funds to do their job, extra funds. Now, sometimes I think that people take funds and they take advantage of people who can't really afford to pay for those extra bribes, so to speak. But at the same time, I think that it's not so much about, let me see, I'm going to put this properly. I think it's kind of like what I tell my son, everybody breaks rules. But the fact is you got caught. I don't like to blow things up and make them bigger and more like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my truck. I don't like to blow things up that big where it's really like, it's really not that big. I'm more bothered. I think that more things are important, like other stories that we're going to get to about, child molesters and abusers getting in around little kids. Like, I think those things are really more serious about getting incensed about. Whereas somebody basically that's got a side hustle going, yes, he's a public servant. No, you're not supposed to do that. But that one thing compared to all of the things that he's done for the past 10, 15, 20 years of all the civic service, it doesn't undo all of that. So that's what I have to say about
that. Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of feel similarly. I think, Trayon, he has a mixed reputation amongst different groups of people. Some people really see him as at least the way that I tend to see him, as somebody who's very sensitive to the needs of his constituents. He's always the first one on the ground when people need help. He's always there. He does a really good job of carrying the message of his ward to the council in places where they don't get proper representation. So he's been a very strong advocate for his home district there. the sensitivity to the don't get caught being corrupt in front of the Republicans is a very serious one. I think obviously DC statehood's out of the question, but they could revoke home rule altogether as it currently stands and abolish the council. I don't think that Trayon himself is necessarily the straw that breaks the camel's back on that. Yeah, I don't think he's the only one. Of course, but there is a narrative on the right, of course, that black cities can't govern themselves, that black government is illegitimate in some form or another, and so therefore, you want to make sure that you're not giving them any.
No, that's the problem with black exceptionalism. No, we don't have to behave or be better or do anything extra. I don't think that is correct.
I think that's a fair argument.
Whatever is required for somebody to earn the respect that they deserve, then give them that. But this idea that because black people already have a stereotype, therefore we can't, and we have to perform and we can't do this in front. No, that is for the birds.
And I think that's a fair argument. I'm saying that's one of the reasons that the council sort of reacted so strongly.
And that's a real thing too.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And then
but then if you're gonna go and spend $400,000,
unfortunately, yeah.
Now your point it's vaporized into dust, because at the end of the day, the money and funding issues, funding programs, funding what the city actually needs is number one priority over everything. Not appearance, not feel goodness, not sentiment, not setting an example. And that is the problem with politics and why people are already dissuaded from participating. That's another example. Yes, can like the council, like the resident said, he said, okay, people who are already not participating, now they're gonna look at that and say, oh, look what this person did with the money. He took 15 grand. Okay, he took 15 grand of somebody else's money, but the council took $400,000. That's almost $500,000 of DC's money. Those all your lunch programs, your automatic free lunch, reduced programs, your early start program funding, your the funds towards a SNAP program, SNAP in the summertime, SNAP during winter break, SNAP during spring break, your TANF for needy, your temporary assistance for needy families. So to me, that's hogwash.
And to your point earlier, also, Leslie, you made a very good point about the I don't know exactly how to say this, but that there's a smart way to be a criminal. And
right.
We talked about this on our show, that like a lot of these people all are taking money on the side, but they're doing it for things like speaking engagements or appearances or a book deal,
right.
Giving a lecture or something like that. So where, even if those things come into question all the time, people say, oh, you took a publishing deal from somebody, you never wrote the book. Is that a bribe? Okay, but at least it's like arguably something else. Whereas you're taking a handful of cash from somebody in a car, so it's, in a way, it's a little frustrating. It's like, dude, if you needed the money, there were definitely ways you could have got this.
Right.
Clearly.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let me get Cool, get the last word, and then we got to move forward.
I would look at it like this. Coming up as a young black man, you always feel like you got that target on your back. With that being said, with knowing that he should have, what they set up and whatnot, they put the piece of cheese in the cage. You went out and got it, and you ate some of it. So you take your consequences. And you pull a Marion Barry if you like that. And who knows, if you come back and you come back strong, who knows, you might be in that Bowser spot. Because I really feel for the dude, because we about the same age. I'm like, come on, bro. When I heard this, I was a little disappointed, but I'm like, hey, everybody else got the second chance. I think he can bounce back from it.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, let's see. Harry Thomas tried, did ish a little bit.
Yeah.
He reminds me of, I think it's true that, yeah, I agree that he should have been a little smarter. And yes, there's a target on your back, especially if you're a black official. knowing that certain white people can get away with certain shit that we, they get a slap on the wrist and we get the life sentence. But my thing I don't like is that he has to turn it into a big thing, like going to court with the FBI set me up. And how I know he was cool with Marion Barry, but you tried to put on that. I feel like it was too much. It was too much.
They gave him the Marion Barry treatment, man.
But he did get set up. He was secretly recorded. He did get set up.
They caught him on camera stealing boxes, and then he reminds me of, like, we saying this a little bit, and then the scene in Friday. He was like, I smoked half a bud with you. The FBI didn't put the gun to your head and make you take the money. But
nah, they did.
I do agree he deserved to come back. But I agree they should have expelled his ass.
Yeah,
But let's get to someone who needs to get their ass kicked.
Who definitely deserves
in my hometown, in my home school. Go ahead. Sorry. This one.
We want to hear from you.
I go to that pool. I went to that pool. Go ahead.
Dang, in the pool too. Swim.
My mom's
Arlington Public Schools tightening security after alleged incident at Washington Liberty High School pool. We're going to get into that security word.
They got a pool at the school.
After a sex offender was accused of exposing himself in a girls' locker room at the Washington Liberty High School pool, Richard Kenneth Cox. He has three male names. A registered sex offender was arrested in December. At a meeting Thursday, Superintendent Francisco Duran said after they learned Cox was in one of the school system's aquatic centers, we immediately prohibited the offender from being on APS property and notified the Arlington County Police Department and our county partners. We did not
call him
knowingly.
Kenny.
What'd you say?
Call him Kenny, not Cox.
Kenny Cox.
Kenny Cox.
Call him Kips.
Dick Kenny Cox.
Dick Kenny Cox.
Dick Kenny Cox is facing charges of indecent exposure and indecent. Dick Kenny Cox is facing charges of indecent exposure and indecent liberties with a child less than 15 years old, among others. That is disgusting. So what they said was we did not knowingly admit a sex offender into any of our aquatic facilities. WTOP's news partner 7 News reported a woman voiced concerns to a pool manager in September, but the manager said they allowed Cox to use the girls' locker room because he identified as transgender. Now, as a part of a plan to strengthen security protocols, Duran said anyone who signs into facilities will have their IDs checked against the sex offender database before they're allowed to enter. That change will be in place by the end of February, he said.
February?
Wait a minute.
September.
All right, go ahead. Y'all go.
Dude, background checks. Hey, you know how much trouble I have to go through just to volunteer in this county? How is these weirdos getting through the background check?
There was no background check. But my thing is that's going to the pool. First of all, see, here's the thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I said I was gonna let y'all go.
He was there as like somebody who's just using the pool, by the way. They're like,
oh, he was a citizen.
He just walked in through the door. But my thing is that we're skipping over the whole point of that this is a grown-ass man that's going into a child's locker room, a little girl's locker room. I don't care what you identify as. I don't even care if you have a daughter, because real women mean actual women. And there is a such thing. There's women, and then there's everybody else who wants to be a woman. Okay? Women already have a rapport, and girl dads already have an understanding that they either have somebody to go with them to deal with that, to take their child into locker rooms. They stand right outside the door. They see an older woman and, can you look out for her? That kind of thing. We have that within women. We take care of each other like that. So there's never a time when a grown man It's supposed to be in the locker room. I'm sorry, I'm getting like, this is a pain point for me. I have a problem with this. I have a serious problem with this. Identifying bullshit.
Yeah, this
Fine.
turned politics.
I'm not seeing that in the Channel 7 story, by the way.
Well, they said that's what the people at what they said was that there was a woman that was at the pool.
Yeah, who
that
raised
reported
concern
that he was in the locker room. He reported it to management back in September. And they said, oh, no, basically this whole idea. No. He's allowed to go in there because he identifies as trans.
So the Bama looked like a dude and walked up in that joint and was like, I'm a chick. I'm a trans. And they was like, all right. And he walked up in there and was like, doubtfire.
So he apparently is homeless also.
He will smack one. Oh.
He has no fixed address. He went to Wakefield High School swimming pool and Barcross Sports Fitness Center late last year. Police interacted with him back in December there as well. He's been charged several times. So this guy, he's clearly not all together, and
which is why we don't take other people's words for things that we already know, have the good common sense with our own eyes to pay attention to. And now to get to the sex offender part, I don't know how we're going to really manage that, because like Mike said, this is a regular person who walked into the pool. But I mean, I don't know how they do in Arlington, but I know in PG and in DC, you got to show an ID before you can even get in there. And most homeless people don't even have IDs. So maybe that's the security. Maybe that's the security protocols that they're saying they're going to step up by saying that they're going to start checking IDs.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't lived in Arlington in a long time, but it's from my recollection anyway. Yeah, you had to show your ID, because if you're a county resident, it was like 50 cents
one price there. Yeah,
and if you're not a county resident, it's like $1.50 or something like that. So I'm sure it's gone up since then. But
did you say $1.50?
Yeah, it was $1.50 for non-county residents.
I was the only person that did that. Yeah, I love that.
My mom swims at this pool sometimes, so
oh my gracious,
I know about it, but I'm sure it's all fine.
But that's one of those things, because I've worked as what was called a gate guard, basically at a pool. And when it comes to these rules and regulations and just being in different industries, it really is up to the user. Same thing with the helicopter and with the helicopter pilot, or I was talking to a friend, we're talking about like doctors, like you have doctors and then they'll walk around and like not wash their hands. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think that people they have so many years in the job, or they are so desensitized in the job that the most basic parts of the job kind of get overlooked, and then they get used to doing it, where now that becomes the new normal. So maybe you start off when you first got hired of checking everybody's IDs, and then after a while,
but come on now, the dude look homeless.
You just really don't. You know what I mean? Especially when you see a lot of familiar faces, even when the not so familiar, or if you checked an ID.
It's Cox. Hey, Cox.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Cox?
Kenny Cox.
Dick Cox.
But Chip, let me ask you. So you have daughters, but also I feel like you're that type of liberal, so you're open to this.
I'm not open to this.
I don't think
throw him under the bus, under the Greyhound.
Explain what you mean by this before you put it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're getting at. I do think that people who should be able to use the bathroom of the sex that they identify as. Yes,
I don't agree with that shit at all.
But I also don't think.
But that's also because you're a man.
Well, it's also because
that's my opinion. I take that back. That's not.
I don't pay very much attention.
That's me putting my shit on you.
I don't care what's in other people's pants is the reality of this. So
I do feel like that is kind of because you're a man, though. Like men usually have that kind of just hands off,
that's not true.
Live kind of attitude.
I think it's pretty easy to not care about other people's pants, especially if you don't have any interaction.
But when they're bringing their pants in your space.
Yeah. So
our spaces operate differently from male spaces. That's why I'm pointing out the fact that you're a man.
I also am very aware of that. I mean, look, I think that a lot of the people who work these front desks at these pools, at least in my experience, happen to be like pretty young. You know, they're like 16, 17-year-old kids with part-time jobs. You know, they're often not paying a lot of attention, to your point earlier.
On the phone.
Yeah, they're on the phone, or they're talking with their friends, and you know, they don't really give
on
a
a
shit.
live stream and shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you've had one of these kind of jobs, which I think quite a lot of us have had at one point or another, you're getting paid minimum wage to sit there and check a box, and it's, you know, you'd be
were better at our
I brought
jobs
my PlayStation shit.
Yeah,
I feel like we were better.
I definitely hung out with my friends who were lifeguards and watched them not watch the pool. You know, like they were not doing a great job at this.
I was hooping.
Oh, well,
I guess I was kind of square. My lifeguard friends, they took their job seriously.
But I think, you know, it also sort of speaks to this point of like, there are people who are very worried about a thing that isn't happening, and then there's things that actually are happening.
So what do you say is not happening versus what is when you're talking about transgender conversation?
I don't think that, and I'm not saying you can't find instances of it, but I don't think I will tell you that none of my trans friends are pretending to be trans to get access to a locker room. I can also tell you.
No, I didn't say pretending in order to get access to a locker room.
I also
said
would
that there's a woman, and then there's everybody who are pretending to be a woman. And
yeah, they're not pretending.
You are pretending. If you're not a woman,
well, how are you going to check?
To be a woman.
Are you going to check? I'm not going to check. I'm not interested.
Let me see your briefs.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like
pull your pants down.
It's like when people ask me if I'm Jewish or not. I'm like, do you really?
No, that's not equivalent.
You know, and so I'm happy to show my pieces if they want to, but that's not really usually what they're after. I make the airport guy buy me dinner before he cuddles me. But in any case, you know what I'm saying, that like the thing that isn't happening is that people aren't pretending to get access to these places. The thing that is happening is that these are open places. People can get in there no matter what. I mean, you know, all the bathrooms in my building are open. If you wanted to walk into them of a different gender, there's literally nothing stopping you apart from the sign on the door.
I hear what you're saying about general public spaces, and I hear that there are unisex bathrooms, regular bathrooms. Now, when you switch and you start talking about locker rooms, that's where sexual assault is actually happening. In this, and I see it in schools and around here, and then a lot of times what I see is that they hide it until somebody calls it. There are.
Yeah, but
I don't have your exact number, but here's what I would say. Is that to dismiss the fact that it is a trend, that it regularly does happen, even if it doesn't happen, let's say every day. The fact that it happens several times a month, every month, and every year is enough to make it important in at least specific places, like where people are getting fully undressed, such as locker rooms, where there's showers, where you're in the pool and you're pretty much damn near naked. It's different from going to the bathroom.
So let me ask you this:
Starbucks.
All right, make it quick.
But the locker rooms themselves aren't locked, you know. So like anybody can walk in there and do that. And
that's not a valid argument.
Let them go ahead and do it together.
It's true that anybody being sexually assaulted or anything like that is terrible and is reason to do something about it. I would also be very curious about your statistics to also say that, you know, there are a lot of trans people who get sexually assaulted too. And
they shouldn't be assaulted either.
Right.
And neither should women.
Right. So
okay,
you know,
we gotta move on, y'all. We gotta
go. Whatever
not women that are going around into men's bathroom.
Whatever the rigid reaction is, if you're gonna take a handful of cases and react to that, that's a legitimate thing.
But we can't agree.
A handful? What would you say a handful is? Like 6 or 7?
A handful is like 6 or 7. Yeah, 5.
So we gotta move on from Kenny Cox, y'all. We gotta move on from Dick Cox.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know how many.
You take a handful.
I'm saying that you can show me this example, which is
I don't have to show you. You can Google it. You can
what I'm telling you is that if the reaction to it is this powerful towards this, the same reaction needs to apply to when trans people are also sexually assaulted.
We're not talking about trans people being assaulted.
But we're talking about
little girls.
Yes.
So when the conversation, see, that's the same thing.
You know, there are little girls who are trans, right?
That's like when you say, oh, when a black person gets arrested, like if it was a white person, then da-da-da. But we're not talking about that.
No, we're not playing what about it.
On the topic of what we're talking about. So this story is about little girls.
Yes, who were assaulted by
Right,
a
with a
dangerous
man
person.
who told somebody that he identified as a woman, and because he said that statement,
Right.
that's how easy it is
And
to
so
be
therefore
allowed
you
a
want to
ridiculous level
so
of
what is
access.
your remedy to
And
this?
that say what?
What is the remedy to this? What would you do to prevent this from happening?
So I'm going to finish my statement. The problem is that all he has to say, all a person has to say, a man has to say is I identify as a woman, and then automatically you get unreasonable access to naked little girls, teenagers, and grown women. Right there is enough for you to put a period at the end and say that can't
and call
be
the
enough.
cops.
Okay, so that's the case. I totally agree with you. If people are lying about their identity to gain access, that is a huge problem. Supposing that the same thing happens and a different person is assaulted.
I'm not saying just to gain access. You keep adding parts.
No, you're mentioning that.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta mute y'all. Okay, we still got one more topic.
The scene from Just One of the Guys. I'm showing my age, but that was a cool movie.
Okay, all right. We can agree that we don't like Dick Cox. Okay, we only get
Kenny Cox.
Kenny Cox. You gonna get the last say, and then we're gonna move on to the mortician thing because that's important. And we got 10 minutes left. But cool, you're the deal breaker. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, it just reminded me of a scene from Just One of the Guys. I think hey, it was a portal that was opened up years past. I used to joke about it on Facebook. Like, hey, I'm gonna be in the girls' bathroom with my dick out in the urinal, but y'all don't have urinals. And now we're here. So I would just say be careful. I'm a camp counselor at times. I don't have my little kids around it because I know it's going to draw attention to them and they're going to be like, "Oh, what's that? Look at that person." And that person's probably going to look and feel away. I just avoid it at all costs.
Now, we talking about trans. We looking up skirts. Now let's looking at a different type of
let's take all the clothes off.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Serious face.
Let's get naked.
And let's go into the serious business of the mortuary sciences.
Ooh.
Okay. This is a place that is gender neutral.
Yeah.
Maryland Mortician Board members resign under pressure. 3 members of the state panel that oversees much of Maryland's funeral industry resigned under pressure from the governor's office. The abrupt departures come a week after the Maryland State Board of Morticians and Funeral Directors ordered the closure of a troubled Charles County Crematory facility for improper.
We can't even die right out here.
Storage and disposal of the bodies. The resignations come a week after the panel suspended the license of a Charles County crematory. Governor Bmore Thursday ordered a top-to-bottom review. He did not have to use those words of the board in the wake of problems reported at Heaven Bound Cremation Services. So we're talking about Heaven Bound Cremation Services. I actually plan on being cremated.
You know what I'm saying? Burn that.
My son already knows. During a visit in March, a state inspector found human body.
Yeah, you might.
I love it. They go to pause. They go to pause.
This is so disrespectful. They found human bodies in cardboard boxes, stacked on top of each other, just straight and right on top of each other. Human bodies in ripped body bags with arms and legs hanging from the bodies. I can't read anymore. Y'all get the point. They totally disrespected.
Bama's being
They
Bama.
totally disrespected the transition and the right of just being able to leave this world with a modicum of respect. Mike.
Yeah, it's sad. I don't think Governor Moore had any choice but to do what he did. You know, I mean, not only was this happening at this crematorium, but apparently had managed to get through several inspections. And,
how? That's what I'm.
You know how.
Once again, when we're talking about these different industries and people, there's the basic level of what comes along with your job, and then for some reason, after a period of time, It just goes out the window.
Yeah, or I mean, this is apparently a family maybe that was running the facility.
Family business.
Heaven Bound Cremation Services.
Rosa Turner Williams, who operates the facility along with Brandon Williams, so it sounds like they're related, admitted in writing to the board that cremains were not properly disposed of, according to board records. Turner Williams admitted under oath on March 19th hearing that she had not yet disposed of remains. So, I mean, the fact that they were operating even after those instances is just ghastly. I don't know what else to say about this.
Hey, cool.
They putting people in these boxes and then just throwing them. I mean, for real, like this is what I thought way back when. Like, how many caskets do you have in all that dirt? And when everybody
wait, is this?
This was
still the
cremation.
same.
This is for cremation, not not burials.
Well, even worse, because you can't burn them right. You can't burn them correctly.
Easier.
Yeah.
And they're not storing. They weren't storing them at the right temperatures. On top of that,
that report identified nearly a dozen concerns, including bodies not being cremated in a timely manner because of a non-functioning cremation.
Oh my goodness, the heater don't work. The stove don't work.
You just kept on taking people's money and then just
stacking them up
and just stacking them.
So, like that type of.
Wasn't there a story about another funeral home that was smelling because they were storing the bodies? Well, it was another one out here in Maryland.
This makes me think about during the pandemic and the people who got away. I don't know the specific.
Can you imagine?
But people who got away with improperly disposing of bodies, storing bodies, and they kind of like
they was already backed up.
They got away with it. Like
refrigerated trucks
and boards were lenient with them. Because it was a pandemic. And
how you gonna be heaven bound? They basement bound.
They going prison bound now.
Yeah.
And then my thing is, I'm trying to get these people. I'm trying to be their lawyer to get them have their jobs back. Maybe it's the people's fault. Maybe they don't have enough money to.
What people?
The families.
The families.
The families
because when my mother died,
the heavenly bound.
When my mother died, I'm like, how much? 1,500? Dang, mama, you might have to stay there for a while.
It's certain businesses that won't operate on credit. Lawyers, the mortuary sciences, doctors.
So you got
tow trucks.
I'm gonna say blame them.
No, so
blame those broke ass people.
Cool. It's that family, and it's also the inspection, the board, the regulations that are supposed to be put in place. You kept passing. You have hearings from 2019, and a person just gets a slap on the wrist.
How you not replace a part?
How about you can't continue doing business until everything is functioning and in proper order? That's what they do with restaurants. Why would you have less oversight with humans than you do
exactly
food?
Well, here's the solution, because how'd they get through them inspections? They paid homies off, so you gotta follow the money.
But they had the money to pay them off. They didn't have the money to fix the oven.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, man.
That's an interesting balance.
You can't cheaper to keep it.
Also, they got to raise the rates. Like, if they can't afford to keep their equipment running at whatever the per person rate that they're charging, then they just need to raise their rates until they can't afford to do business. There might be a role for the state in this, and state governments. Maybe there.
You know what? You should just close the business. How about
close it and maybe set up a local state crematorium or something. People are going to die, and you need a place.
Yeah.
Let the state take it over.
And go do something else. Go do something.
Yeah,
go do something
privately owned, not a good look. No.
Again,
certain things probably shouldn't be
bound. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Mike. I don't think certain things should be for-profit enterprises, and I believe that this is definitely one of the things that should not be a for-profit enterprise.
I'm with it, Mike.
It should be a thing that maybe we collectively handle as a society.
Like, just
Well,
Can
and
we
we gonna
Google
wait.
review?
We gonna let our home mortician man cool in his mortician funeral home outfit. We gonna let you get the last
I'm the
word.
Undertaker. I'm the
We gonna
Undertaker.
let the Undertaker get the
But
last
take your
word.
hat off and
We
put it
gonna
on
burn
your
him
head
then. We
when
gonna
you
burn him
on your
right.
heart when
They
you
say dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Hey, I'm with the state fund. Hey, look, but these private owns, man, shut these motherfuckers down, man. Shut them down.
Heaven-bound cremation services. We're talking about heaven-bound cremation services.
Stay
And
Can
if
we
I
away.
go to
Google
Google
review them?
Maps and I see that they're still in business, we're gonna have a problem.
Can we Google review them?
Yeah.
Because
And
I Google review the mess.
Google
I
local
will
guide
review them.
too.
Let's
Hold
get
on,
it.
Heaven.
I'm gonna guess most of their customers don't leave a lot of reviews because they're dead.
Are you gonna watch the game, Leslie?
Yeah, but I kind of feel like I want to go to a party, but I haven't been invited to one yet. So
Right.
You always
I
be
think if
talking.
I don't get invited to the party, I probably would just watch the halftime show.
Crash one.
Oh,
Easy
damn,
on that word these days.
That's a bad
What?
transition to.
Yeah, that's a good segue there.
That's a.
Oh shit.
So when I heard what happened,
yeah.
you have any thoughts on that? When I think of that, I think about what happened in 1982 or something like that.
83, yeah.
83.
Florida Air hit the 14th Street Bridge.
Yeah.
So
No
yeah,
shit.
that's what you thought about when you heard about that.
yeah, I think everybody in Washington did.
Like,
Yeah.
you went to that memory, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
You went straight to that memory
Yeah.
of 1983.
I wasn't even born yet, but I was like,
Hey, look. Hey, look, then when I seen the clip on the news, I was like, what are they talking about? The jump to hit the 14th Street Bridge, and then they kept going. I was like, oh, this shit happened again? Jeez.
It just sounds extremely suspicious to me. I'm one of those people that I reach, but it just sounds suspicious. I think it's terrible. I think that it's terrible that all those people died. And normally when stuff like that happens, it's like, but that doesn't happen. A military.
So
it's it makes me wonder who was on the plane, who was on the like. That's where my mind goes immediately to. That's messed up. All those people had to die. Who was on the plane?
Bunch of figure skaters, apparently. I mean, I'll speak for myself as somebody who does fly out of national quite a lot, and who is also an airplane nerd, who uses the flight tracker apps on my phone and can identify airplanes by sound. I spend a lot of time around there. I do see a lot of the planes. I do see the congested airspace. And, I've been on flights where we've had to go around or where we've had to, delay moving on the tarmac because something's coming in hot. And National is the most delayed, most congested air single runway in the country. It has a history of this. Congress just added 5 more flights to it because, of course, they don't want to schlep all the way to Dulles. And it's not great. And it's very clear from what we know now, at least, that the Black Hawk was not at the altitude that it should have been at. It was substantially higher by about 150 feet. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, how that got to be is unclear. Well, it's unclear still.
I mean, I say why, not really actually expecting an answer because they fly by all the tools and the gadgets and stuff, so you can look and see how high you are.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that this looks a lot like a pilot error. The tower had visual confirmation. They had an affirmative from the helicopter that they had visual confirmation on the aircraft incoming on runway 33, but they still, I mean, people make mistakes. I play softball right under there at Potomac Park. We wave to the helicopters when they're flying. They are always there.
Okay.
We say if you hit them with the ball, you get 5 runs. So I mean, it's
okay.
They're really right there. So
okay. Okay, so
that's dangerous.
But shit! Look, it just registered.
Sounds
like you hit the helicopter with a ball.
Got a question.
You get 5 runs. smack the shit out that joint.
Transition?
Too many midgets and trans pilots.
Yeah, that's apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
but let's get to.
So that's a tragedy. I feel very sorry for those lives lost. I mean, those souls, and their families and their friends. Rest in peace. That's just a terrible, terrible way to go.
They found all the bodies.
Yep, they finished getting all the recoveries today.
Good. I'm glad for that. Sheesh.
And it's when these things happen, it's when you question, is flying the safest way to travel though? You know, people still stand by that, but it's just very unfortunate that it's when something happens, it's like on a colossal level.
Shit, fuck
I
that.
Experienced that
I drive.
Yeah.
Would you say?
As do a lot. And a lot of people will catch the train too in lieu of flying as well.
Fuck that. I just keep my green book and keep it moving. But let's get
Mountain Dew and chocolate.
Let's go.
It's time to laminate that book, by the way, so the edges.
All right, y'all. We got Leslie from Love Studios. We got MizterKool from Explicit Intelligence, and we got Chip from ChipChat. Speaking of dead, let's get to these recalls. Bird flu reported in Montgomery County. Backyard flock officials say. And guys, if you got babies, Gerber Products Company announces recall and discontinuation of all batches of Gerber Smooth and Chew. It looks like a little teething thing. Looks
just
like
the
a little
sound
bone.
of it makes it's clear that you shouldn't get that to your child.
And Blue Ridge Beef issues a recall of Blue Ridge Beef Natural Mix due to salmonella. Or is it salmonella?
Isn't Blue Ridge, isn't that dog food?
Salmonella.
Yeah, salmonella or salmonella.
Blue Ridge Beef. That sounds like dog food.
But okay, it was a great show. We all very maybe we can talk about more of looking up skirts another time. It was a great show. We got Leslie. Tell the people where they can reach you. Tell everybody. Tell where the people can find y'all.
Everybody, you can find me, Leslie Olabisi, everywhere. YouTube, Instagram is Leslie Olabisi down there at the bottom. Love Studios is LOV Studios, one word. So if you just type me in the Google, everything will pull up.
All right, you can find me and my show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on the Facebook or the Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can find me on the Blue Sky on my old Twitter handle at Chef Chip. And you can find us every Thursday night on Beltway Radio and Beyond at 9:30. We're live every week. We're celebrating our 10th year, I should say, of doing this show every week. So check us out.
Yeah, man. Hey, MizterKool here. MizterKool on Instagram. You can also get me on YouTube at Explicit Intelligence. If this bird flu kick off, I'm not taking the jab this time.
Don't do it. Do not do it to yourself.
And I'm your host, Bmore, aka Princess Amunda. This is Ishtak TV. Find us on YouTube, everywhere as Ishtak TV. Stay black.
Peace.